Alright everybody, welcome back. In the previous video we were setting up our charts and we set up the flex grid, but now it's time to use a different portion of thinkorswim. We're going to actually go up here to the trade tab. Now most of you have probably been up at the trade tab. You got the all products, and you would normally associate this with going into the options marketplace, but that's not even close to its total value here. One of the things that I really love about the trade tab are these other four. Now, I don't trade Forex yet. I don't trade futures on thinkorswim. I've never used their active trader. And although pairs trading is completely awesome, I don't do that here either. But these four tabs are something that you can lock into place and revisit them again and again. Now, I'm going to show you for an example what my saved charts are named like. Right here, you can see I went up to the double box here, and I went down to a collection of my charts that have been saved. Look at the naming file system that I used here. You don't need to use the percentage sign. You could use anything you want to get these things to group. I used the percentage tab, or the percentage symbol, and then I named where the chart belongs. So this chart belongs on the trade tab underneath active trader. So if I was going to look at this, I would want to go to the trade tab and then click on active trader. This is a default active trader that's set up on thinkorswim, but I have my own saved. So let's take a look at what mine is. So this is a pre-developed chart that I was using when I was day trading options, and I used to trade on thinkorswim and options and day trade because we didn't have micro futures. And this was you guys haven't seen the videos on it yet, but using market breadth studies on an intraday basis. All right, so that's what this whole thing was set up for. It's an active trader. It just implies automatically what you're going to be doing. In the pairs trader, I have always used this to look at the sector rotation model. Now, a lot of you might not be familiar with this, but this setup is absolutely a valuable tool. I love using this setup, and I refer to it many times during the day when I'm looking at the four indexes and I'm asking, why is SPY holding back? What's wrong with the S&P 500? Why is the ES not running? And I'll come over and take a look and realize, oh, I see, healthcare is taking us down or putting pressure on the marketplace. Or I'll come in here and look and realize that the industrials are holding back on the day. So I get a lot of value of coming in and looking at these sectors. I don't want to have to keep reconfiguring my charts every time I want to take a look at this. I also don't want a bunch of windows open showing me multiple copies of thinkorswim, but this is a really easy solution to the problem. You develop this, set it up how you want it, and then you just let thinkorswim save it for you, and you name it in such a way that you can always come back to it. That way, during the day, if I'm interested in finding out what's going on in the market, I can immediately just go to the trade tab and go to the pairs trader, and I can see the sectors. Now, depending on the size of your monitor, you might want to add or decrease this in some way. And you don't need this, but these videos are designed to show you what I use and how you can set them up for yourself rather than just importing something that I already made. So the first thing we want to do here is reset this. That way mine looks like yours. So here we are on the pairs trader, and the first thing we need to do is switch gadgets. So we go up here to the triple button, the show actions menu, and we want to show gadget pairs here. We want to change this to just a regular chart. Now once we've changed it to a regular chart, we now want to go back in and set it up on a 3 grid. Now that we're on a 3 grid, let's go ahead and maximize one cell, and we're going to make sure to turn off the trade bar at the top, And we're going to get rid of the pairs in here and give it a single thing, which will be the XLF. Now that we've got the XLF, we're going to set it up on a 5-day, 5-minute chart. And now we can see our regular material. Now, remember, we're going to be zooming in on this, right? We're going to have 9 grids. So 5 days is probably going to be too much, right? So we want to go in and make that smaller. I'm going to make a time frame. So I'm going to add a time frame. We're going to use the intraday, do a 1 minute or a 1 day, 5 minute. We're going to add that, move it up, and apply it. Now, one other tool that is really valuable if you never change anything is linear regression. So we're going to use the linear regression trend line. We're going to make it to where we can see it easily from a distance. That works. We're going to set that as default so that when we add the next one, we won't have to do anything. And now we'll just go and save this. One other thing, we don't need the volume. Now we're good. While we're at it, let's just add a moving average. I'm going to set mine to a 50. You might be interested in something more aggressive or less aggressive. And now we're going to save this style. And we're going to include patterns and study sets. Now this linear regression counts how many candles you're showing total. So if you're on a 1 day, 5 minute and you're looking at it for a couple of days and then you swap to a 5 day, 5 minute, you're going to change the entire mathematical formula for linear regression. So get used to using it on one thing or analyzing it on one type of chart and don't change those things around. So we're going to go to the next thing now, and this is going to be XLK. And all we have to do is go to Style, Load Style, and we want to find Sector Rotation or Sector Model right there. Just like that. On to the next one. We want to make this XLY. We need to get rid of the trade bar at the top. Set Style. Sector Model. And the next one, XLI. We don't need the tab. Go to Style. The repetition of this should help you start to become very familiar with it. Of course, the more you do it, XLB, the more you do it, the more familiar it will become. And you can save any of these 4 tabs to do whatever it is that you want to do. This is just how I like to get things set up. And I have had to reset my computers or jump into a different computer. I've lost my Thinkorswim, and had to reset it multiple times. And I always reset everything back to how it was, XLE. And after a while, you will find that you actually depend on these things being in their spot. And when something isn't in the spot it should be, you can very easily say, all right, well, that doesn't belong there, and you just swap things around. This is one of the reasons I don't have to waste so much time in my day. I get very comfortable with Thinkorswim because everything is where it belongs from where I've gotten used to it being. I don't have to hunt for things. XLV. and XLU. So there we go. Now when I back out of that, you can see very clearly the sectors. Now the only thing I should have done and didn't do was show sidebar and cells. So let's do that. Give us just a little bit more room on the day. And now we can clearly see what kind of day we're having. Now remember, in this perspective, you can't see previous days. All right. What you can do is on the side here, you could add either another quick chart, or you could set this to unlink, and then you can put in any one of these 9 to see a bigger picture, a more complete picture from a higher time frame. Okay. So that's it, guys. I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you at the next video.